Rick Marks here, welcome to another episode. I'm wanting to look at action today and how often do we hear something but choose not to act? Or on the flip side of that, we hear something and either don't have the follow-up, we don't ask questions, and we don't get curious. I wanted to look at this as a flow-on. I've been reading a number of books lately, and the recurring, I guess, thing is to be curious. Ask the questions, ask more questions, drill down, get all the analytical, the data, because when you act out of lack of awareness, you are either setting yourself up to just follow the path of least resistance, follow the crowd, be another sheep, or you get curious and you don't have to become, I guess, in a sense addicted to whatever the topic is. You don't have to go that far, but if you're going to have an opinion on something, I think it's important that you are educated in it and you have your own understanding and your own belief, your own background behind it, rather than just going, well, yeah, whether it be following a person and going, yes, they're going to be the next Prime Minister, whatever, that without kind of having the substance to back it. This is why this person would be a really good next Prime Minister, because these policies, because of this, because of that. And that's actually the curiosity. Ask them more questions. Even if it's an ad on TV for that party, ask the questions. But why? In Australia, our political system, when it comes around time for the elections, we get bombarded with, well, this party said they'd do that and they didn't. This party said they would do that and they didn't. And it just becomes a tit for tat war between the two parties. And I personally, whenever I'm going to the polls, often I'm left scratching my head going, well, but what are you going to do for me? And I'm not the only person that has that feeling or feels that way, because the general public, the way that these parties spend their money, it becomes like a smear campaign. And so the Australian political scene is more often a negative element more than a positive uplifting. This is what we're going to do for you, this is what we want to promise you guys, this is what we want you guys to hold us accountable to. If we were to flip the coin and start to look at it in that way, we would probably find that there'd be more people that are interested in the politics, but most people shy away because it's just tit for tat. Well, they said they would do this, they said they'd do that. And so more often than not, most people go to the polls and just vote based on either family preference, they've grown up a certain way, being taught a certain mindset, rather than actually looking at the facts and figures. And I know I've been talking a lot about the facts and figures, getting the data, doing the analytics, but that's the importance that it plays, because then you make an informed decision based on fact rather than just hearing again on TV, or I like a certain person, they were nice to me, so I'm going to vote for them. So I guess the next question is, do we trust the person who's telling us whatever it is? So on an ad on TV, do we trust that source? And I guess that's often where I've noticed the more recent generations will often trust, say, Huffington Post or similar, where my generation, I generally will trust more credible sources, so ABC News is, or something that's a little bit more backed. If I can't find it in any of those sorts of, I guess, the tried and tested, long-standing journalism groups, why would this particular little story, and I guess that's how I surf the net. So whenever I've got Facebook and I see, there's been a stabbing in Canberra, and that's where I live, Canberra, I go, oh, interesting. I don't click on that post. Instead, I'll go and I'll search. I'll search Google for a stabbing in Canberra in January and try and get it down in the information. But if I cannot find a credible source to back that case, then it's fake news. And I guess that's the biggest problem I see more and more is, are we getting credible information, or are we just, I guess, creating whatever narrative that we want. You know, was that article on Facebook clickbait? Was that potentially, I don't know, a trap to get somebody to click on it? You know, but it's still all fake news. So I guess on the back of that, and I'll grow on it more over the next coming few videos, but becoming then actively listening. And I find that more often than not, I've talked about it before, we are too busy waiting for that either pause so we can then interject, but rather than actually just listening and actively hearing what somebody said, and then also then returning in the conversation. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges in conversation, and I'm trying to encourage my children to be in converse, is pass it back and forward. Often it's a matter of us also showing, so what I'm hearing you're saying is, and then echo back, because often that person can go, no, it's not quite right, this, and they can then help you to get a better understanding so that you walk away from that with some good, whatever it is, you know, perspective on what they're talking about. I'm nearly out of time, but I just wanted to encourage that if you can actively listen and you can then gain the walk away points from a conversation with somebody, then you're going to be a lot better off and a lot further ahead, even as a leader. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day, because you can grow and develop much better as a community with others when you're actually in tune and you're not walking away with your perspective and your take on what they've delivered. So yeah, ask the questions, gain the information, get all the data and analytics, and then make your own decision based on that. If you've enjoyed the video, comment below, thumbs up, subscribe, and you'll see me on the next video. Bye for now.